Hello, I'm Rich Pawson, and this is an update on the economy. We're going to look at the ISM Manufacturing Index and unemployment, and we're going to look from a business cycle perspective. And I want to point out the ISM for manufacturing has been declining since late 2014. It is due for a 3-year cycle bottom, and the April number came in unchanged from the March number. When we see a single up month, I am calling a 3-year cycle bottom in place, even though from a conservative perspective, we should go with the idea a single month does not make a trend, and for that matter, even 2 months. But I feel there's high probability, high confidence we're close to a cyclical bottom for the economy. Now, I find several nations around the world have already bottomed for this cycle. I find others are bottoming right about now, and I think Europe has bottomed. So I am looking for a rebound into 2016 from this business cycle. Now, the ISM Services Index, at least I think it was the ISM, it might be the Services Index from the market, HSBC sector, but it shows strength, relative strength to manufacturing. The strong dollar and winter and the port strike all played a role of impacting our economy in recent months, and certainly our exports from a strong dollar perspective, as well as the port strike. And I think we're seeing something change here. It's time for the dollar to correct a bit, time to rebuild the economy. But I just wanted to point out the service industry is actually performing much better. Now, this is a monthly unemployment rate, but I've converted it to an annual bar chart, and I'm applying 9-year long-term business cycles. The 9-year cycle bottoms every 8 to 13 years. There's a recession related to that, so we have a recession every 8 to 13 years. I call it a primary recession. You can have recessions more often than that, but they're generally secondary recessions, and some of them slip underneath the radar screen of the government and economists, and they don't even call them recessions. So the primary one is the one to really watch out for. It's basically one a decade, but occasionally get two, and that's what happened last decade. Okay, what we have is a 9-year cycle bottom in the early 2000s. It goes up into a peak, comes down to a bottom, goes up into the grand slam peak for the financial crisis, and probably much larger super cycles. And then as it started down, I said, okay, we've got the top in place. I went ahead and made a forecast for a speedy decline. I was a bit off for that, you can see. Wasn't quite that fast, and I kept telling people who were saying it's just not declining fast enough. Economy's not going to make it. We're going to have a 1937 crash again. The Federal Reserve isn't doing the correct thing. Government isn't doing things right. And I just said, no, you're wrong. The cycles are saying this is going to work. We're going to see a decline, and we have seen it. And we can see now that the next objective is looking a little more clever, as if we're going to meet it, because it's already low enough for the minimum objective for the level, but we haven't met the time objective, suggesting there's still a chance for economic growth over the next 2 to 3 years. But the closer we get to the end of the decade, the more likely we'll put a 9-year cycle bottom in for unemployment, which will mean it will be time for a rebound, which also means it will be time for a recession. But right at the moment, it looks like everything is on track. Now, granted, I think the economy is slower than what we're used to for this current unemployment level, and I warned of that, but nevertheless, the economy is growing, and I think from a much shorter term basis, we have an opportunity for economic growth into 2013. I'm Rich Pawson. Thank you.